Rogues, issue 1, Joshua Williamson writing with Leo Max on art. This is a Black Label book.
Yep.
It's issue 104. This is, I'm going to call this the Old Man Cold story, which is, we're in the future. He's an old man now, and he wants to get the rogues together one last time because he's. Well, basically, as we find out in the issue, he is on parole basically, and he has to check in with an officer. He's got a job that he doesn't like, and his manager are making fun of them. They're saying, because when he leaves the office after they give him this sort of promotion to like supervisor or whatever, they're like, yeah, what you're giving that ex-con this job? Is like, okay, he doesn't even get any of the money because it's part of the higher ex-con scheme.
He owes so much of his paycheck, he doesn't get to keep it. Plus, this will look good for us. So, really, it's win-win. He gives him something to be proud of. And as a longtime Captain Cold fan that knows how proud he is,
you just wait for him to snap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're just
because they also make fun of him. They also say, could you imagine anyone used to be scared of him? Like people.
He's like, wasn't he Freeze? It's like, oh no, that's Gotham. He's ours.
Oh yeah.
And it's like he can't think.
We all know how much he hates being mistaken for Mr. Freeze.
Hey, at least they didn't mistake him for Cold Snap.
True. Well, I didn't realize this was going to be Ocean's 11 with the Rogues, and I freaking love it.
I got that vibe, like the title page, where it has Leonard Snart as Captain Cold, and then my favorite is featuring Gorilla Grodd as himself. I was like, okay, I get what you're going for here.
And then when he's rounding people up, they each get their own little,
title.
So a lot of this issue is because we start off with a flashback. We start off in kind of what may be current
modern
day DC, and it's basically overhears this gorilla character who is a detective, but not a detective chimp. Again, there's a lot of.
Do you guys know who this is?
I actually don't off the top of my head now.
Okay, so there's a character from a book that, late '90s. It was called Angel and the Ape. And it was this detective gorilla from, Gorilla City, teaming up with a lady named Angel O'Brien, or Angel O'Day, and they had a detective agency, and that was the whole story. Man, the 90s are wild. But yeah, so
sounds amazing.
Him drinking at this bar, and them being like, oh, he's not even Detective Chimp.
And Condiment King being the one who's serving people.
Yeah,
a big fight breaks out, but while he's complaining, he talks about how Grodd doesn't even need to come to Central City for he came for power, but he doesn't need money. Gorilla City's got tons of gold underneath that no one's even counted because they don't care.
They don't care about gold because they're such an advanced society. They just sit on it.
So Cold gets the idea that this is the long con that he's secretly been kind of planning his the last 10 years of his life. Is this is the big one. This is the one that he can finally set them all up for life. And it shows you things like when he's on his way to work and he sees the graffiti, the big painting, the mural of Central City, and he's quite proud of it. But then on his way home, and they've taken down the wall because they're rebuilding. He gets really pissed off about it. But yeah, he goes to his sister, who's like a social worker.
She's a social worker now, which checks out with her. Yeah, right.
And she's helping people. She doesn't want to be a criminal again. But this issue is very much about him rounding up all the people. Not all of them have survived. There's a couple of dead members, so they get replaced with some others.
Weather Wizard and Captain Boomerang.
Yeah, they're both dead. So
Boomerang always dies.
Yeah, we got Bronze Tiger and Magenta to replace them.
I do like Bronze Tiger though, so I'm always okay with that.
Who's now a pacifist. Because he can't be an assassin anymore because parole, which I love that tweak.
That works because Bronze Tiger has that flexibility in him anyway. He kind of goes through phases like that, right? Yeah. So that works.
And you've got Trickster who's doing a stand-up routine, a magic show or whatever, and he's the old ladies love him, so he's making money that way.
And I was like, wait, is this Axel? And then he called him James. And then there's a quip about plastic surgery. And then Leo Max nails the art. Because when it does a close-up of his face, it looks like someone who's had a lot of work done.
I think the art is spectacular. Again, Snart, because we're saying old man Snart. It's not old. It's 50s. It's later middle age, kind of just he's in that grumpy older man, like kind of middle management role.
Yeah, well, he's very Walter White-esque, right? Like
I can see that. Yeah.
I do love because when Cold goes to Heatwave, and he walks in because everyone else have had to convince somewhat. He walks up to Heatwave and he just goes, "Save the speech, I'm in." And he's like, "But it was a good
speech."
As he's setting the fire, he goes, "Is this business or pleasure?" He's like, "That's for an insurance company, so both." I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. But then he reveals his plan is that we're going to Gorilla City and we're going to steal the gold that's underneath Gorilla City. And all I'm like, you're psychotic. No, we're out. Let's all leave. Yeah. Let's go home. But of course, Start is very charismatic. He convinces them that they should stick around. And they go to what at first they think is a prison, but it's actually a rehab place because Mirror Master's in there. Mirror Master's essential to the plan. So we get McCulloch in the story here. But
he wants to be called Sam.
Yes,
he's all loopy.
He's confused. Yeah, seemingly.
Yeah.
But basically, some authorities show up and they have a bit of a standoff, and it kind of escalates. Where up until this point, it's like they're not supposed to be seeing each other. Part of their parole is that they're not meant to be interacting with other villains.
And his parole officer, Cold's, searches his house to make sure he doesn't have any of his gadgets. And we see a scene when he gets pissed after work, disrespects him. He goes and tears his, very John Wick style. Yeah. Tears his apartment apart. And we see him building him. We can assume it's the gun, but this is the first time we see the freeze gun used.
Yeah.
Very effectively.
I love the colors of that scene because up to that point it's all been like really muted, kind of pale colors, yellows, and then it gets to that where it's the anger and it's all this reds, oranges.
Yeah.
Really pops.
But they didn't actually use the freeze gun until this moment where he freezes all of the security forces in front of them, and
everyone else has been, metaphorically speaking, frozen. Like they don't know what to
do. They don't actually try fighting them. They're basically just like scared that they're going to go back to prison. They don't want to be a part of this anymore. He freezes all the security forces and then goes up and starts knocking their heads off of their frozen bodies. But
it's ensuring that there's no way back now. Yeah, we've committed to this.
Yeah, like we've just killed a bunch of cops effectively. We've just crossed this line. It doesn't matter if they all say no, this was Snart, and we just kind of like he roped us into it. We didn't want to do this. They're still going to go to prison. They're still associated with them. They're still here when this happens.
Their lives are all still ruined.
Yeah. So now they're locked into this no matter what. And then the final page is like, you've all gone soft. You've forgotten who we are. We're the rogues. So you get that full page at the end where they're all locked together. So there is kind of this interesting idea here that none of them wanted to really be this villainous again and didn't want to kill people, but he's sort of like forced them into it. That's an interesting. That's an interesting.
Almost believe that he's not actually that villainous for most of the issue. That he is that kind of sad, broken old man.
And then he proves that he is still this guy. But I think this is an interesting dynamic to set up for the rest of the story. I think for the rest of it, we're going to sympathize more with all the other characters more than we do with him now.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, especially since it goes out of his way to show us that some of them are actively trying to do good. Bronze Tiger's trying to teach people self-defense. Lisa's, helping kids and like finding people homes. Yeah.
Magenta's trying to keep that persona under control.
Yeah.
Right, with medication. Heatwave's like the only one that's really full in from jump, like you brought up.
Yeah, Trickster's not doing anything good, but he's not doing anything wrong either. He's just making himself a little bit rich, but not in a malicious way.
Yeah, completely legal. He's got fans. They're paid to see him. Nothing.
He's ripping off old ladies.
Right, but it's no worse than any other entertainer, right?
No.
Right. And so, it's now they all definitely have something to lose.
Yeah.
And it's Gorilla Gold or bust.
So now they're all on their way to. Well, I don't know if they're going to go straight to the city next time, but they're like whatever the next part of the plan is. That's what's next time.
I wonder.
He says next stop Gorilla City, so we'll see.
Yeah, but I wonder why they need Mirror Master so much. And heist movies, there's always that one person that cracks. Actually, except for Ocean's 11. Ocean's 11 actually goes pretty well for them.
I think it's probably going to be it's Snart that cracks by the end, because that's the sad bit. Everyone else is able to pull it off.
Well, I'm just saying what
leads more
leads
professional, but he's so invested in it, he'll mess up.
I'm just saying like what leads to them getting stuck, right, or whatever. Like is it Magenta? There's these seeds there.
No, I think those are all like red herrings. All these things of like, oh, will they, won't they? I think it'll ultimately come down to him being too passionate, it's too personal for him. Yeah, push it too far, and he'll be the one that screws up.
Yeah, I think what I like about this, and it's probably one of the best things I've read from Williamson. Maybe the best thing I've read from Williamson, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's probably like some parts of the Flash that were up there with.
Yeah, I think the Flash annual in that sort of time in the middle where Wally came back properly is maybe my favorite stuff before now. There was a little run there that was really good in the part of the run, but I think this though. The characterization of Cold feels so in line, and I like that he's making these wrong choices. He's going down a villainous path, but every motivation he has to go down this path, and like all the things that trigger him, all make sense and all fit a classic Captain Cold persona. It fits the Jeff Johns Captain Cold. It fits the Captain Cold we've had by and large for the last 30 years.
Yeah,
and I think that makes it really satisfying for this to make sense
as well. That I've been struggling with a lot of the Williamson stuff lately, in that it's very big in scope and it's kind of messy.
Mm-hmm.
This is very restrained. It's like, no, this is one small group. They're pulling a heist. It's in and out in theory, but like that, there's only so much. It feels a little
Tarantino-esque to me. I guess that's the other thing. The roll call at the start gave me vibes of. It gave me like a Tarantino roll call. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. But I think this may end up being my favorite thing he does, just because it is this self-contained.
Yeah, I would say check out. Have you checked out Nailbiter, Pete?
No.
It's the first, because there's it's broken up into two. Nailbiter Returns. I've only read the first trade. I'll say this in case you ever do get into it. Ending is kind of but the lead up to it is very much more in line with this, where each piece moves. Like, this is much more condensed because that was 36 issues the first time. I would say if you have time, check it out. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. But now Rogues issue 1, I mean, we were kind of all excited about the concept of this, and I think it kind of lived up. And obviously Leo Mack's name was a big sell as well, and the art here is very good.
And Lopez's colours as well, I think. Kind of been said that they're like all that stuff in the bar at the start, like just kind of like pops, the purple backgrounds, and then I mentioned all that bright red when Snart flips.
It's and Leo Mack's art, like from Bucket Full of Heads too. It's very grimy in the best way. Like there's a texture to it.
The stuff when we were dealing with Heatwave when he's burning down that building, it looked like a Francavilla page.
I can see that. It's also because of the colors too, right? I associate.
Those pulpy colors definitely helped. Yeah. Yeah,
I would describe Leo Mack's general style as being. It reminds me more of like and it's not exactly the same, but it reminds me more of the sort of style that the original like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of had, where it has that has that kind of gritty 90s indie comic look to it, and I think that fits with the story, and it fit really well with Basket Full of Heads as well at the time. So
it fits so well that the artist right now on Refrigerator Full of Heads feels like they're doing a Leo Max thing. So
it's interesting that essentially we got this from him instead of Refrigerator Full of Heads.
Yeah, that's true. But I wonder if like he would have been doing that had they not offered him something else that maybe piqued his interest.
I mean, as someone that was enjoying Refrigerator Full of Heads, I'd much rather see him on this because like the Rogues are near and dear to me. So, as fun as that would have been, I think this is much better use of the talents here.
I would say keep putting them on gritty things or horror things. Like you could throw him a Swamp Thing book, and I think that'd be interesting.
Just gonna say that.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. That's Rogues issue 1. Very, very, very good. Matt, what are you giving it?
9.
9. Connor?
I'm gonna go with an 8.5, but I mean, it's still very good.
Yeah. I think I will go with. How about I say with 8.5? I won't quite give it the 9, but I'm really excited and I'm looking forward to issue 2 now.